Is now the time to be paying attention to airdrops again? That is the big question that we are going to answer in this video. Now, we know that a lot of airdrops recently have been very disappointing for a number of different reasons. So we're going to break down exactly why this is the case, which airdrops to avoid, which airdrops are actually looking half decent, and much more. If you do enjoy the video, do drop a like, do subscribe, but let's get straight into it. So let's go back in time now and discuss why airdrops even became a thing. Now, if you look at some of the OG airdrops, a lot of it was simply all about rewarding early users. But more recently, we have kind of lost that path and things are very different now because, let's face it, the projects are actually farming us for our metrics, so we are another statistic for them to put together a more positive case to why they should be entitled to raising more money or, being a higher valuation, whatever it may be. Now, the problem is, as soon as the airdrops are over, the projects then suffer, their TVLs drop, their metrics don't look as good as what they obviously once did. But when it comes to our side of things, when we discuss which airdrops we want to be paying attention to, a lot of the problems and the recent airdrop failures are down to saturation. Too many people are, quite frankly, farming these airdrops, which means that the rewards per person are being diminished, sometimes even cut out completely. So if we have a look on this website now on Phantom, we're going to look at a few different examples across a few different websites of airdrops, whether they were good or bad, and how many wallets were actually eligible for the airdrop. So if we go back to Jupiter, so this is way at the beginning of 2024, we can see here that 955,000 wallets which interacted with Jupiter before the 2nd of November were eligible for their first airdrop. Now, this is quite a large amount of wallets, but I kind of respect the way it was before the 2nd of November, so those late farmers wouldn't have been rewarded, which actually rewards the right people, the genuine users. So, I kind of respect that. More recently, if we go to look at ZK Sync, we can see here that around 695,000 wallets were eligible. Now, this is a smaller amount, but with this came a lot of controversy, of course. So many people felt like they were wrongly cut out of this airdrop, which actually puts a negative spin on the project. People were calling it ZK Scam, and it's just not a good look. So is the airdrop really worth it for the project in these situations? Is it really worth cutting out those early users? It's not going to end well, generally speaking. Now, if we go to layer 0, of course, there was the whole Cybil situation, and many people again felt wrongly left out. And if we actually look here, nearly 1.28 million wallets were eligible for that airdrop. So probably the biggest amount of eligible wallets for an airdrop so far when it comes to those big blue chip players. So that again was another disappointing airdrop. But there was one airdrop to me over the last 6 to 9 months that actually really stood out positively, and there is a clear reason why. And that airdrop that was extremely rewarding was actually Jito, and this was at the back end of 2023. So this is when airdrop farming hadn't really kind of took off, or at least peaked anyway. Now, Jito was rewarding, and there is a very clear reason why. So if we have a look on this website here, we can see that a total of 9,852 unique addresses with at least 100 Jito points qualified for the Jito airdrop. Now, if you compare just under 10,000 wallets to 600,000, maybe 900,000, 1.2 million, that is a very big difference. And that's why these kind of big blue chip projects now are just simply not worth it. Too many people are airdrop farming them, when really we should be paying attention to these, I guess, what you would call the low cap gems, or the gems of the airdrop system. Because this project obviously wasn't as hyped, it wasn't as big, but the rewards were so much better. And if we go over to this website here, Blockworks, we can see here that it was pointed out that moving $40 of Jito Sol around could have netted users nearly $10,000 in Jito. So that doesn't exactly require too much work when it comes to actually farming it for a very, very positive reward. Now the problem is it's very hard now to find these projects early, because if they are good and they are worthwhile doing, so many people jump on the bandwagon. But right now, many people are not paying as much attention to airdrops because of the recent disappointment, which takes us into our next point. So it's one thing finding the right project to actually airdrop farm, but the timing is equally as important. Now, when it comes to investing in Bitcoin, altcoins, whatever it may be, one thing is for certain: people want to buy low, sell high. They want to buy in the bear market, sell in the bull market. They want to be able to buy when nobody is paying attention, and then sell when, every family member and friend is asking them whether they should be, throwing some money into crypto. That's typically how it works, generally speaking. And it's the exact same theory when it comes to airdrops, because you want to be paying attention, you want to be farming when nobody else is interested. And that's exactly what we've just discussed, because Jito was a project where you would have had to have been farming it maybe in Q2, Q3 of 2023, way before the whole airdrop hype picked up. So now that things have quietened off, yeah, of course, it's not the exact same as way back then, because generally speaking, more people are more aware of airdrops, and there will be a number of people who haven't given up. But compared to Q1 this year, when things were just going crazy, them numbers are going to look very different, and many people have just thought, I'm not putting this effort in, this work to find the airdrops, then farm them all for, a $15 airdrop. It doesn't make sense. So in these situations now, we want to be able to find the right airdrops, make sure the timing is right, and then when the hype picks up at a later date, it's actually too late for those farmers to jump back on. Because like Jupiter as an example, a lot of these projects are going to have cut-off dates of when you would have had to have interacted with a protocol, or got involved with the Discord, or done some beta testing. It really depends on what their requirements were. But the key is to be early and find them right projects. So for me, the simple way of looking at it is the best time to be farming airdrops is in the depths of a bear market. Because at that point, literally nobody is paying attention. So it's the perfect time to get ahead of the curve. But the second best time is during these downturns in the bull market, because summer's come along, the market's not looking great, people are going touching grass, they don't want to look at their portfolio right now, and they're hoping they can come back in a few months and things are looking much better. So this gives an opportunity for us to find some of these newer airdrops that are pretty much underfarmed relative to these big blue chip players. Now, when it comes to these big blue chip players, I'm giving Monad one last chance to put things right. Now, when you look at how they interact with their community and they perform on social media, I do think they are a little bit different. So I'm hoping that they can basically save airdrops, not just for us, but for the project's reputations as well. Because generally speaking, when we look at the projects that have launched with multi-billion-dollar valuations on day one, the airdrops have never really been so great. So I'm really hoping that Monad can look at this, look at these recent airdrops, and actually learn a thing or two and put things right. So I'll put a link in the description to a video that I recently did about farming the Monad airdrop, so you can go and check that out. But generally speaking, I think the smaller projects are the ones that we want to be paying attention to. So for me, I think the timing is equally as important as finding the right project to farm. But I'm just hoping that a lot of these projects now see the state of airdrops and how they are not working anymore. Scrap these XP systems, scrap the point systems, and just genuinely reward users who are using the project or the platform or the product organically, rather than just getting involved to try and farm an airdrop. I know it works well for their metrics, like I said earlier. It makes them look bigger than what they actually are. But I do believe when it comes to building a solid community and basically people who are not going to disappear as soon as the token launches and they receive their free money, that's how you actually build a product and a community and a project. Maybe it's the old-fashioned way now, maybe I'm a little bit out of touch, but I do think that would be a breath of fresh air right now. But if you do want me to start sharing more airdrop related content again, do let me know in the comments, because of course things have been a little bit quiet recently, not really been paying as much attention, and I'm guilty of it. This is why now I feel like it is a good time to start getting involved again. In the meantime, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.